Hey guys, it's JC Santos with another video today. I want to make this kind of quick because this video can really go on to a rant, and this is like the 5th time I try recording this and I'm already going on a rant. Okay, so this video is on my switch from full frame to micro four thirds, and my main reasons why I decided to do this. I know a lot of people now are thinking of doing the switch, but they're afraid, and I went through the same thing because it's a big worry. And when it comes to switching camera bodies, that means you need to now purchase new lenses, so it's a huge investment as well. But these are the main reasons. Let's just jump into it. The number one reason why I honestly switched from full frame to micro four thirds is the size. So you're looking at both cameras right now. This is my full frame camera. It's the Sony A900, and it's a full frame sensor at 24 megapixels. And I'm currently shooting with the Panasonic G7, as well as what's recording right now is the Olympus EP1. So you're honestly just getting the quality from the micro four thirds camera recording, and the video on the cameras is from my iPhone shooting 4K, and then those are the two main cameras that I was shooting with exclusively as far as, you know, paid events and gigs. Alright, so anyways, already ranting. So number one, the main reason why is the size. As you can clearly see, I mean, there's a huge size difference. Yes, this has a battery grip, but that is how I would use it every single time I went out to the field and shot a gig, whether it was, you know, portraits, a party, anything. I always had the battery grip on, and it's very convenient. Now, I'm pretty sure they've made a third-party battery grip for the G7, but I stopped using the grips because I don't want to have that bulk anymore. I want to downsize. I want it to be really light on my back throughout the whole day, and I don't want to be, you know, have that, like, have carrying my camera feel like a burden to me. Alright, so that's the number one reason, is the size, and that is the number one reason and why anyone would actually buy and switch over into the system. And it's honestly, it's the size. So if you there's a bunch of videos on people switching from full frame to micro four thirds, and you'll hear them say the same thing. It's the size. It's, you know, when you're carrying around this camera that weighs about like 3-4 pounds, you know, after a while it really, you start feeling it on your shoulders, your neck, your back, depending on the strap that you're using. You know, you will feel it, I promise you. And if, God forbid, you're shooting a wedding where it takes a long time, there's a bunch of shots that you need to take. It can go from like 8 hours, you know. I mean, you're gonna feel it. So the number one reason, going back again, I'm gonna repeat myself, is the size. And it's not just for the camera body itself. I will show you now. It is the lenses as well. So I've mainly just been shooting portraits recently. That's my favorite type of photography. It suits me more, so my lenses are based around that, portraits and maybe some street photography and everyday, you know, lifestyle lens that's convenient for me. All right, so coming back to the lenses, is the size difference again. You know, you have a large camera, you're gonna have large lenses. Now the whole point of micro four thirds is to downsize everything, and since there's a smaller sensor, there's no mirror, because it is a mirrorless camera. You're gonna have the flange distance is gonna be different as well. You're not gonna have it. So as you can see here, this was my portrait lens with the full frame camera. It's a 70-210, and now this is my current portrait lens for micro four thirds, and that is a 45 millimeter f1.8, but it's an equivalent 90 millimeters. So it's kind of like in the middle for this. And as you can clearly see, there's a difference. There's a huge difference. But I'm not losing any quality just because this lens is more than half the size of this lens. You know, I'm not. If anything, this lens is much sharper than this one because that's an f4 and this is a f1.8. Anyways, it's a faster glass, should I say. So now, going back and adding more to the size, you know, just having this one lens in my bag is taking up a lot of real estate. So that means the bigger the gear I'm carrying, the bigger the bag. I have another video on what's in my camera bag, and you can see how I'm carrying 2 camera bodies, 3 lenses or whatever, and it's all over. It's like a satchel. It's like a man purse. It looks like. And you know, before I was using a full-on book bag with dividers and all that. So anyways, going back to the real estate, just to accommodate this one lens, if I put it on its side like so, now in Micro Four Thirds lenses, going back to my current bag, just for that one lens, I'm fitting 3. You know, 3 Micro Four Thirds lenses. Maybe I should stand it up for you guys. This is lengthwise, or heightwise, should I say? You know, for the same real estate that this one lens is giving me, I can now have 3 different focal lengths in Micro Four Thirds, and to me that is the biggest like advantage over this DSLR system, having that conveniency to carry more in your bag and not the weight. It's like magic. It's like black magic for real. But so that's the number one reason why I switched over. And let's try to not drop all this. Okay. And another thing I've been asked is like, oh, you know, you're going from such a large camera to such a small one. Aren't you afraid of losing, you know, megapixels and losing quality in your photos? And to be honest, you have to. That's a personal preference. You have to look at what you're shooting. How are you sending the photos to your clients if you're sending, or how are you utilizing your photos that you're taking? You know, nowadays everything is so digital. Everything needs to be instantly shared on, you know, Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook, that I'm not worried about a 24 megapixel sensor anymore, because, you know, everything at the end of the day is going to get so compressed on, you know, being viewed on a cell phone or a computer screen. It's really not going to be a difference, and you're really not going to tell, in my opinion and in my experience. You know, if you're one of those that are pixel peeping a lot, I guess you would be able to tell. But in all honesty, in my opinion, no one is able to tell or can tell what I'm shooting with unless I personally tell them, oh, you know, I'm using this little camera. So if you're worried about quality, I wouldn't. You're looking at the quality of an old Olympus camera that only has 12 megapixels. And you know, the quality to me at 720p, which in today's standards is really low, it still looks fine and is very usable. So on another note for the quality, if you're afraid of making that difference, you know, don't be. Because with all the advances going on today, you know, you can get a better Micro Four Thirds camera as well that offer more megapixels. You're not going to notice it as far as online uploading or anything like that. So from my personal experience, I didn't lose anything from going 24 megapixels to 16 megapixels. All right. And another thing that I liked for number 3, I feel like these cameras offer more than the DSLRs. You know, if you're afraid to switch camera systems again and the bodies because you spent so many hundreds of dollars on, you know, prior lenses, whether you're shooting Canon or Nikon, they sell adapters that will mount those lenses onto Micro Four Thirds, and you can use that glass, and then you can slowly, you know, save up and get native lenses for the Micro Four Thirds. So if that's another worry about switching systems, you know, you have that option instead of just, you know, whatever. Anyways, now the only downside to Micro Four Thirds that I've personally experienced is the fact of its size. You know, there has been a couple times where I've turned away jobs because people do ask, oh, what camera do you use? And even though they have no knowledge about photography or, you know, what gear is good and what f-stops are, any of that, they're still gonna question you. And you have to think, you know, if someone sees you walking in with this big camera, with that huge lens, they're gonna believe that that guy is much more better and more efficient and knows more of what he's doing when you walk in with this. And that could be furthest from the truth. You know, So that's another thing that's kind of a downside to it, since it's such a small system. You know, I don't want to say it's professionalism, but people that are not in the know, they will kind of question you. And in personal experience, I have had to, not take jobs because they judged me on what I wanted to use. Even though I still had this camera available for me to use, they didn't even give me the chance. So, I mean, I'm just being real that you will come across that. People that, aren't seeing the improvements in, technology and cameras and how everything's getting smaller and better. You might run into that. So that's something to consider, if that affects you as far as image wise, your personal image. You may run into that, because I know I have. So this is just a quick video on why I switched to Micro Four Thirds. I honestly don't miss my DSLR, and it's, it has dust on it, unfortunately, because I just don't use it anymore. Carrying, having this camera only didn't make me want to carry it, because it felt like a burden at that point, and I kind of lost interest in photography and wanted to take photos because I just didn't want to carry it. And now, as funny as I may look carrying like a sling over my shoulder or whatever, I'm just happy the fact that I'm able to carry my camera and take photos of my everyday life and family events and anything really. And it's all because of the size and the convenience of this system. But anyways, those are just my quick thoughts on switching from full frame to Micro Four Thirds. One thing you may need to consider was that last statement that I told you about personal appearance and maybe professionalism, if that's what you want to call it. But those are the main reasons why I switched. I do not regret it at all. And yeah, I hope this video helped out anyone with the same worries that I had. Don't be, I promise you won't regret it. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, this is JC Santos, and I'll see you in the next video.